Okay, I think it's Saturday 17th of January, so it's the second episode of a year at Tunnel. It's the third week. Last week the match got snowed off and it's a bit milder today, but this is teams of 4, round 7, so 11 teams of 4, and it's one person from each team on each leg, and I've been drawn extension 9 today, which is probably an okay draw, but just the nature of the teams of 4 competition, it's just full of superstars, so getting any points today is going to be tricky. I've got Christian Jones to my right on 7, Phil Canning opposite on 21, I think, and Matty Hamilton on 19 across the way as well, just in my area. So just 3 absolute superstars. So trying to get any points today is going to be tricky. But anyway, I'll try and work out what I'm going to do, and I'll check in with you at the start and see how we're doing in our journey this year, which is very much a average Joe angler trying his best. I'm fishing a match at Tunnel every week for a year and seeing how we get on and reporting back the good, the bad and the ugly. We're probably more bad and ugly than good, but we will see. Anyway, I'll check in at the start. Okay, that's the starting whistle, and yet again I'm not particularly ready, despite having had oceans of time to set up today. So we're going to start. Let's have a little bit of a dob on red. It's quite mild, but it's just gone really bright. So I'm just going to go and have a dob to the pots with some bread. See what happens. See if we can get something and have a look round. See what's been caught. Looks like Matty's gone. Looks like he's gone short, but I'm not sure. So I've just got these pots here. Just gonna put a bit of bread there. Phil's short. And Matty's into one straight away. Wow, that was quick. So the idea is I'm going to have a little dob around for 15 minutes or so, have a look what's going on, and then probably some maggot lines out to the pots, in between the pots. But I'm kind of hoping we might have a few to my right. The only fish I've seen moving today have been on my right, down towards 13. So I've got a bit of a feeling there might be a few up there. And we might get so the one thing about this peg, we've just got room to our right because there's nobody into the right. But it's interesting, Phil's just had one as well, so both Matty and Phil looks as if they've started short on something, and they're already into fish. Anyway, I'm going to give you an update around about the hour mark, let you know what's happening, and see if we've had anything. Okay, it's an hour in. As you can see, it's gone quite bright, and I'm going to say still, the slight breeze just come up, but in essence there is not a lot being caught. Certainly round here. I thought Matty had started feeding short earlier, but I was wrong about that. he's actually just flicking a bit of bread around, and he's actually caught, I don't know, 6 or 7, I'm guessing. I've had one dobbing to the pots, one stocky, and I've been fishing maggots now for about half an hour. There's the one line to the pots, which I'm going on now, and another line in the middle of the pots, and I haven't really had a sign, to be perfectly honest. So just tipping in about 6 maggots. It's not too much happening. I can see Phil on 21 is feeding, as is Christian, I think, but I haven't seen either catch too many. So it's really slow. I don't know if it's a bit better. I think the odd one being caught further up the pool, where it looks as if it's going to be quite a difficult day, possibly one of those days where they only really feed in that last hour and you're just trying to get the odd one here or there. I'm just going to try on these maggot lines for a little bit longer, but I might have a look down the margin soon. It's actually quite mild, and with the sun on my back it's reasonably warm, and maybe they'll just come up into the shallower water and there might be a few to be had there. But at the moment, to say I'm not setting the world alight is an understatement. But then, nobody is really. So, an hour in, and quite a slow start, but certainly the best I've seen around me is Matty Hamilton on 19. Steadily, just getting the odd one here and there. He's already found a ball of fish there. He's just sort of chasing them around, just getting the odd one in. But hopefully things improve. But at the moment, it's hard. Well, this is the end of hour 2. There is phenomenally little to report. So I had my stocky dobbing on bread after about 10 minutes in the first hour. And since then, I've had, I think, 2 perch and a roach. So I'm pretty damn sure we haven't got £2 yet. I don't think anybody's finding it particularly easy. It's just bright, still conditions. It's not a lot happening, really. It's probably going to be one of those where it's just last hour that people catch. But I'm just trying a couple of maggot lines at the moment. I've had a look down my right edge. A brief look, just because I thought they might come into that shallow water. No, so I'm going to have another look on that in a minute. And I might try and put in an expander line head just to see if that does any better. But they're just not responding to the maggots at all. Nothing seems to be moving. A lot of people sitting very still. Not masses being caught. It's one of those days you can pick the odd one off through the day and then hopefully catch at the end. Unfortunately, as things currently stand, I'm not picking the odd one off during the day. So that's not ideal, but we'll keep grinding away and see if we can find a few. I've got some options around, so just a case of going through the different options and see if there's something that perhaps delivers a few fish. We will see. Anyway, that's the update now, and I'll check in an hour. So, We just hit hour 3, and it's not got any better. I have been all over the shop looking for fish, and long maggot lines haven't worked. I've tried putting a pellet line, that hasn't worked. I've gone down my right edge, that hasn't worked. And I've just come in on my left edge, and I've had 3 perch, but they've been chunky perch. And frankly, at the moment, when I can't catch anything, at least I'm putting something in the net. So I'm probably going to keep exploring these edges, but I probably need to work out some track lines for hopefully when they come in the last hour, we can have a few then. But at the moment, just ticking over on perch is about the best I can do. I really didn't think it was going to be this bad, actually. With it being milder, I thought 70-80 pound might be a winning weight today. We'll see what it actually is. Somebody might be on them. But and actually, to be honest, looking up, extension towards 5 and 3, I think they do seem to be catching. So they're catching there. Not much been caught around here. Matty's gone back dobbing bread again. He's had a few. But anyway, I'll keep plodding along. I'm going to move my margin line out a bit. See if we can get a bit more happening up there. At least putting something in the net, but just not a lot. Anyway, I'll check in with you in an hour to go, and hopefully things are beginning to happen at that point. So we're just coming up. It's coming up to the 4th hour, and I guess it's fishing really badly. Since I last spoke to you, I've caught just a few perched on the edge, and I've just off down my right margin, I've just had a decent F1. Well, half decent F1. At least it was an F1. It's fishing rock hard. Whether I mentioned it before or not, the vets, so the over 60s, fished on Thursday with absolutely chucking down pretty horrible conditions. I think there was one with 40 pounds, and it was pretty steady weights after that. But so I kind of figured it'd be better conditions today. We probably might have a few, but it's been really difficult. Matty's just winkling them out over on 19. And I've seen, I think extension 3 and 5 seem to have had a few, but it's been pretty quiet for everybody since then. And hopefully there'll just be an arrival towards the end. I have actually just got one, which is getting the odd fish down the edge now. So, no, it's a fish, it's a perch, but it's not microscopic, so something to put in the keep net anyway. So, worth having. Alright, well, we'll keep trucking on. Hope the last hour improves, and we'll have a few more to tell you about. Well, I'll try and have a catch up just before the final whistle. I'll let you know quite how badly we're doing. Anyway, I'll see you in an hour. Okay, so we're a minute or so, I guess, maybe 2 minutes away from the all out, And since I last spoke to you, it hasn't exactly been super rapid, but we did have, I think, a couple of stockies, sort of a long line down the track off to my right. And I've had a few perch, and I lost one on this short line, which I'm sure was foul hooked. And I've just caught a decent one short, decent F1 short. But it has been incredibly hard going. Everybody's struggled as far as I can see. Don't think they've struggled as much as me. I don't think I've got £10. I suspect the majority of my weight is made up of perch, but you've got to kind of try and put something in the net. That's the final horn, so to speak. So that's it. Not a lovely day, nice, mild, sunny, warm day. But the fishing, which I thought was going to be alright, has been pretty dreadful. Interesting to see how it's fished everywhere, but it feels like it's been rock hard. I'm sure somebody would have been on some, but not me, alas. But I felt I worked hard. I've gone on a load of different lines, never really put anything together, but that's the way it is sometimes. But anyway, we'll have a sort of full wrap up, and I'll just let you know what the final weigh-in was and what the results were overall. Tomorrow, when I've had a chance to sort of catch up on things. Anyway, that's all, and I'll catch you shortly. So it's Sunday, pretty much 24 hours after the end of the match, and I just thought I'd do a quick wrap up on it. Just a reminder, this is kind of my journey through a year, fishing a match each week at Tunnelbarn, seeing how we get on, very much from the perspective of being a average Joe angler and reporting back the good, the bad and the ugly as I get on, trying to fish against some of the best anglers in the country on one of the UK's premier commercial fishing venues. So with that in mind, just take anything I say with a pinch of salt. But in terms of yesterday's match, just to kind of wrap that up and summarise that, I've started off dobbing bread in about 3 foot to the pots, and then there's an island that wasn't quite on camera, I think off to my right, down, as you go towards 13, and I dobbed the reeds there. I had a few bites, and I had one stocky in half an hour of doing that, so it didn't work fantastically well for me. And I've come off that, and I wanted to fish a few maggot long lines, and I was really expecting to catch, sort of tap out sort of 6 maggots and sit there, wait, nothing, tapped another 6, wait, nothing, set up a new line, nothing, set up a new line, nothing, set up a new pellet line, fishing expanders and micros, nothing. And it was pretty grisly for the first 2 hours. And then I've gone down my edges. I've been throwing just 2 or 3 maggots here and there down my left edge. I've gone on that, and the float's buried, and ended up having sort of 3 or 4 chunky perch there. And basically on a number of different lines, I've just pulled out some sort of chunky perch with sort of 3 or 4 to the pound, which was okay. I just ticked over on those. I had the odd F1 doing as well, but at least the float was going under. I was putting something in the net. And then I, with an outing hour, primed a line with about 20 maggots and a little bit of Skimmer's Dark long down the track to my right. And I've gone on that with an hour to go, and I've had, I think, 3 stockies and a few silvers down there. And then I've had 1 decent F1 short, and that was it. I was a little bit fearful that I hadn't weighed in 10 pounds, and I managed to weigh in precisely 10 pounds, 10 pounds 00, which, sounded terrible weight, but actually it's fished rock hard everywhere. That was actually, there were a couple of lower weights than that on my lake, so I got a few points for the team, which was great. And frankly, a couple more fish and I could have got good points for the team. So I wasn't actually a million miles away from things. Overall, it's fished really, really hard. 70 pound I think has won it, but the weights fell dramatically after that. I think a lot of people have caught dobbing bread at distance in open water. Sort of 16 meters, bread at sort of, with dobbing about 3 to 4 foot. So I think there's probably a lot of aching bodies, a lot of people sort of fishing very long during the course of yesterday's match. And then, probably the other depth seemed to be about 3 to 4 foot from what I could see. So, they obviously didn't want to be in that deeper water. I gather that the lake was iced over on Wednesday, so I get a lot of that melt water will have gone down into the bottom of the lake, I guess, and the fish just don't want to be in those depths. So that's the way it sort of panned out. I'll go through the results specifically, just go onto my laptop. So in terms of extension, Christian Jones to my left won it of peg 7 on extension, and he's had £35. Sean Little was on 5, he's had £31. Ben Sharp was over the other side on 25, and he's had £24. And then Matty Halmanton was opposite me, who I thought was absolutely bagging up. He's caught £21. So, great points, but, I generally thought he got about £40 there. In terms of the team competition, let's say overall, so if I can spot it, overall on the day, Des Ship won it. You don't really see him at Tunnel as far as I've seen outside of the Teams of 4 Winter League, but he does so well. And he has weighed in £70, 12 to win the whole match, and he was on top 13. And I gather I could be wrong, I haven't read his match report, but I believe he was sort of fishing dobbing bread at sort of 17 meters, which is, wow. Then second was Craig Partridge, and he was on new 10. And third, and he had £57. And then third was Mark Malin, and he was on new 15, and he's had £54. In terms of the teams competition, Doncaster Fishing Centre won it yesterday by 1 from Southwest All Stars, who were in turn 1 from New Fish Elite. So those are the top 3. And in terms of the overall league, after 7 weeks, Southwest All Stars have got their nose in front a little bit now. They're on 208 points. New Fish Elite are second equal by the look of it on 201. Ridgemere, who were leading, now on 201. And then Team Dynamite on 193, Team Matrix 184, Catch 22 183. So still really tight at the top, but Southwest All Stars, I guess, have got their noses out in front. But you can get dramatic swings. A lot of this is going to be very dependent on the draw and where people end up. So we will see how that develops. 3 more rounds to go. So from my perspective, just looking back at my match, look, I didn't feel I fished an appalling match. I was certainly busy, or sort of all over the place, trying to catch, and just didn't really quite happen. But that's deep winter fishing, and it's tough. And the fish just did not want to feed. Didn't want to feed for anybody yesterday. I say you were mostly catching dobbing, and it's not even as if they switched on, in the last hour, which they often do. It was just really, really difficult. But in terms of my own performance, a few things I think I definitely got wrong. I thought with slightly milder weather, I thought they would feed. And so I wasn't too fussed about trying to think through dobbing. And What I should have done was get a light plummet on, have a look around the peg and see if I could detect a ball of fish and sort of dob bread to that. I'm pretty sure that's what Matty did over on the other side. He's caught pretty well dobbing bread, fairly short in the first hour or so. He's obviously found a ball of fish and he's dobbed them, and he's got a good weight in that first hour. And I should have taken that a bit more seriously than I did. The other thing, which is a big mistake, is that there's an island to my right, and I could have fished in 3 foot up against that island, possibly with expanders and micros. I didn't do that for one reason. I normally carry 3 sets of rollers. I only had 2 with me. I really needed, because it's very much to my right and it's 14 meters. I couldn't have fished it with the roller setup that I had behind me. I would needed to put in another set of rollers out off onto my left, or have positioned my seat box pointing down towards 13, which was something Jack Danby suggested to me when he went past just before the start of the match. But it was a bit late then, I hadn't really thought that through. Didn't have those rollers, I wouldn't have been able to hook and play a fish and get it back past the guy was on house 8, is right behind me, trying to swing it past him, trying to get the pole back past a big post that was behind me as well. It just wouldn't have happened. So I couldn't really fish that particular line, and I'm pretty sure I would have caught a few fish on that. So I think that just something I got wrong, but I'll make sure I've got a full set of rollers in the car next time. I think just the overall, just an obvious learning. I think it was a bit easy to see Matty, particularly because he was in my eye line, catching, and it's very easy to get a little bit dispirited and your head go down. You don't know how everybody's catching. Reality is you might see landing nets go out, but people have got to land everything with a landing net at tunnel, whether it's a large fish or a micro perch. You still got to use your landing net, which often means that you see people using a landing net. It might actually be a small fish, might be a silver, might be a stocky F1. So you just got to keep fishing throughout. Just 1 or 2 fish at this time of year can make a big difference. So I thought Matty got about 40 pounds, come in with 21, which is great points for his team, but it wasn't million miles ahead. So that's it really. Next week it's round 8 of the teams of 4. That's last week's round that got postponed, so that we've got round 8 next week. Just looking at the forecast of the week, it doesn't look like we've got sort of Arctic temperatures or anything like that. The weather's not great, but it's fairly stable, and it shouldn't be getting iced over unless the forecast changes dramatically. So I'm hopeful that next week we'll have the opportunity to catch a few. There'll be a few more feeding fish, but it was a difficult day. But I got the standard of these leagues, the standard of this winter teams of 4 league is unbelievable. I've not fished anything. I've fished various festivals, but the standard across this particular league is stellar. And so just to get a point or 2 for the team, I'll take that any day of the week. Anyway, that's it for this week. Look forward to catching up with you next. Thanks.